Help! Oh no, we're done for.
果然，他们也是这具身体的
Just
食物。
as I thought, they're also food for
试试
this
看吧。
body. Let me try some.
原来如此。
I see. Humans are
由
very
于人类
different
在
from
心智
us
上
in
的
their
疏
way of
离，
thinking,
我的
which
确
makes
算是
me a
他们的
natural
天敌。
enemy of theirs.
那么接下来，
It's only logical that
按部就
the
班。
next step is to feed
我也
on the
应该
best
审
in
视着
here.
满溢而出的恐惧。哦，又一份
Another
食物。
meal.
希望我不会吃撑。
Hopefully, I won't stuff myself.
咦，这人
This
倒
one is
是有些奇
strange.
特，
He's neither
既不
screaming
尖
nor
叫，
running
又
away.
不逃跑，
He's
甚至
even
毫无恐惧。
fearless.
再靠近点观察吧，
I should
即
get a
便是
bit
那天赐之
closer.
物，
Even the
也容不下这
godsend
重重
cannot
之影。
contain the sheer scale of these shadows.
命数
It's
分
all
晓，
over now. The ending
如
is
同
upon
明海与
us.
白羽。
Like Minghan and Baiyu, Langqiu's
狼丘的
fate
结
is
局已
also
被划定。
sealed. No, now
事到如今，
that it's come to
难道我
this,
还要冤
am
屈
I
永
going
生？
to blame others for it? I was already
正是我的
confident.
过信，
That was what led
促成
to
了
our
眼下这般死
situation
局。
becoming so
不可
desperate.
辩驳，
There's no arguing that
此
this
乃
is my
我之罪
sin.
业。此人当真古怪，
What a weird man.
看上去
Someone
心
so
若无
sad
力，
and fragile
有一
should
脸
have
的
been
苦相。
consumed by other shadows long
按理说
ago.
应该早就被其他影子盯上了，但他却还有闲暇
Despite
在这里
that,
自言自
he
语，
still finds the
嘘嘘
time to babble to
借研究一
himself.
会儿吧。
I'll study him a bit longer. The living thing in the shadow was very curious, probably because it had just come to life. Just as it was about to disappear into the darkness so that it could observe the man a
总
bit
算是找到
closely,
你了。
a gentle breeze passed by. Finally found
怎
you.
么，搞砸了事情，
What?
在这里自
Are
言自
you
语？
feeling sorry for yourself after screwing
难得
things
能
up?
见到你有如
It's
此可
rare
爱
to
的
see
一
you
面
like this,
白吉
young
少
Master Baiji. It's almost cute.
吓我一跳，
She gave me
这
quite the
女人什么
fright.
时候来的？
Where did that woman come from?
以及
So,
原来这男子唤
Baiji
作
is
白
his
吉。
name.
阿杰塔小姐，
Miss
没想到
Ajita,
你会亲
I
自前
didn't
来，
think you would come personally.
在下还以为
I thought
你
you'd
最
use
多只
that
会使用那可
artifact
以
of
在远处
yours,
与人交
the
谈的
one
法
that can
器，
communicate with people from
发
afar,
来数据信
to。harangue me.
哎呀，你把我当什么
What
人？
kind of people do you think I am?
今日可是复影之时，
Today is the day for the
就算是
shadows to
我
be bound. It will
遇
determine
到
the
这种
fate
事
of the
关世
entire
界命运的
world.
头等大事，
When an event
也
of
不至于
this
还要继续
magnitude
宅
is
在
upon
家
us,
中把玩
even
草。
I would refrain from staying at home and playing with my collection.
更何况，这
Besides,
复影的
if
法
we were
门
to
正是
publish
拿
an
去发表
article
论
about the
文，
shadow
因为还
binding
有一同署
technique,
名。
you and I would be listed as co-authors.
可惜，虽
I
然自诩
boast a
手艺
lot
精
about
巧，
my nimble hands, but sadly,
如
it
今看来，
appears I'm not cut out
在
for
下反而不是
conducting
做实验的那块
experiments.
料啊。
所以，黄道星
So,
之
what
环
happened to the Zodiac Astral Ring? Upon hearing that snappy name, the man named Baiji shook his head,
不堪
frowning.
重负，
It
崩裂
couldn't
成了数
bear
个
the
碎片。
pressure and split into several
哎
fragments.
呀，看来把
Oh
影
my,
全能整合
I
为起
suppose
点，
it's only theoretically
终究也成了
feasible
理论
to
上的可
integrate the
行性。
Shadow's authorities in a singular point.
不过，有一
But
点倒
one
是和
thing
你预料的
happened
一样，
just as you predicted.
星之环毕竟不是
The
凡俗
Astral
之物，
Ring isn't
虽
just
然
a
碎裂，
mundane gadget.
其威能永在。
Even though it's split apart,
我已用
its
业务
power is still
将
there.
其承载。
I'm currently using a counterfeit to store that power.
哦，那接下来你打算怎么做？
So, what are you going to do next?
先发一
Why
通牢
don't
骚
you
如何
vent？about it
虽
first?
说个性
You
轻
could
浮，
call me
但我或许还
frivolous,
算是个
but
合
I
格的
might
倾
just
听
be a
者。
good listener.
不，
No,
这一切的
all
结果
this happened
都
because
是
of
在
my
下的独断专行
impulsiveness.
所致，
I alone should take the
责任
responsibility.
也该由我一人承担。
是了，
Yeah,
我就知道
I
你
knew
一
you'd
定会
say
这么
that.
说。
In all of
诸葛要在
Langzhou,
这廊
you're the
丘找
prime
一个责任
example
感
of
的
a
奴
man
隶，
who is a
那你
slave
一
to
定是最佳范
responsibility.
本。
Maybe I'd better answer
在
your
下还
first
是更适合
question.
回应你的第一个问题。接下来，
Next, I plan to
在下
hand
要
over
将
the
黄道星
fragments
召
of
唤
the
的碎片
zodiac Astral
交到合
Ring
适的人手。
to the right people.
此物的生物
The
亲和性
biological
或
affinity
许
of
还有
this
让我的
instrument
王不败
might
这个
give
机
us an
会。
opportunity to turn the table.
哦，我
Oh,
的确
I
推演过
remember
这个权
working
益
on
之
this
策。
contingency plan
虽
together.
然语法无
I don't
缘，
think we can do
但
anything
所谓
about the
数的
law.
人选，
But regarding
你
the
已经有迹
shoes,
象。
do you have any candidates in mind? Baiji
我希
nodded.
望
I
他
hope
们
they
能
can
以自己的
utilize
天
their
赋异禀
exceptional talents to
找到
discover or devise
并开辟
some
某种
methods
调
to
和隐
suppress
疾
the
的道
shadow
路，打不
calamity.
过就加入。
If you can't beat your enemies,
倒也
there's
没那
no
么多
shame
而
in
除此
learning
之
from
外，
them.
在下今日的动
Also,
向，
I'm
也
afraid
许被
they've
诛
already
封，
figured out my whereabouts, so I must
所以也
prepare
不得不做
myself
好
for a
迎接那些人的准
confrontation.
备。
听起来你可有
Sounds
个
like a
忙
lot
啊
of work.
既然
If
如
that's the
此，
case,
那就祝你
I
好
wish you
运
good
了。
luck.
是非之地不宜久留。
One should not linger in a
就算是
place
我，
where
也必须
trouble
早
is
择其
brewing.
款。
Even I need to contemplate. Wait a moment. Baiji approached Jita and put a small object in her palm. The living thing in the shadow didn't quite catch what it was.
哦，看来
Does this mean
我也是
I'm
人
also
选之
one of
一。
the candidates? Sure. There's no one more suited
信用
than
着
you
你，
to bear the
以
name
当之无愧。
Gadgets. Alright then, I'll take
那我就
it.
权且收下了。
在下
I
知
know
道，
Langzhou is too
你的
small
宏
for
愿
the grandness of your
远非这
vision.
小小廊丘所能容纳。只
I
愿你
only
如往
hope
昔一
that you
般，
can help us to the
在
best
力
of
所
your
能及的时
ability,
候，
as you have always done.
不吝相助我等。
你太客
You're
气
too
了，
kind,
我的
my
朋友。
friend.
虚愿的
The
真实
truth of
唯有
falsehood
气
can
运可
only
以
be
承
held
载。
by gadgets.
至少于此刻
We
而
are
言，
in a
我们的合
mutually
作
beneficial
还是更其
partnership
所需的健
where
康
each of
关
us
系。
can obtain something we want from the other, at least for the time being.
他们究竟在
What
说
the
些什
heck are
么？
they talking about?
神神叨叨。
Sounds like they're up to something.
不过，
It seems
似
to
乎
have
和影有
something to
关。
do with shadows.
我还是得好
I'd
好听
better
听。
listen carefully.
好了
Alright,
你
it's
该去
time
继
for
续
you to
完成
carry
拯救
on with
廊
your
丘的伟
work and
业。
save Langzhou.
我
As for
嘛，
me, I
今
find it
天
more
还是躺在
comfortable
自
to
家的
curl
沙
up
发
on my
里更为
sofa.
安逸。
再会。
Goodbye,
Ajita
Mrs.
小姐。
Jita. The woman's footsteps faded off into the distance, just when the living thing in the shadows thought she had gone far enough.
哦，对
Oh
了，
yes,
姑
a
且提
small
醒你一下
reminder,
吧，救世
Savior.
主。那边的
There's a
阴
little
影里有一
monster
只小
lurking in
怪
the
物，
shadows over
已经
there.
鬼鬼祟祟
It's
盯了
been
你
staring
很
at
久。
you for quite some time now.
嗯，不好，
Shoot.
影的产
A
物，
product of the shadows.
因为
Has
复
it
影
been
而被强
strengthened
化
by the shadow binding attempt?
那么，
Then
果然，他
it's
操纵
just
影
as
子
I
的能力
thought.
甚至在
She
我
can
身上。
control shadows better than me.
要是躲不开，
If I can't
手
hide
里
from
可就完
him,
了。
I'm done
够
for.
了，
Enough. Void. A complete void. But it wasn't entirely empty. It was a fairly amazing experience, a sensation it had never had before. It kept flowing in, like a trickle merging into a lake or sea, and brimming out again. It was the same soul, but dressed in a brand new dark attire. Am I still
还
alive?
活着。
That was
这可真是
strange.
奇也怪哉。我的样子
I don't look
和
the
刚才不
same.
一样了，
I remember everything that
但
happened
是
a
刚才
moment
的事
ago.
情我还都记得。 用人的
As
话来
humans
说
would，put it,
这简
it's
直就像
like
做
a
了一场梦。
dream.
不过
However, even
即
though
使
I
拥
can
有方
recall
才
what
的
just
记忆，
happened, I don't think it's
似乎也
sufficient to
无法证
prove
明刚
that
刚
the
的影
shadow
子和
from
现在的
before
我
and my current being
两者是
are
同一
one
存
and the
在。
same. No, this is no good. I nearly
我好
got
像差
carried
点
away
陷入到一个
pondering a
寂静无
question
解的
without
问
an
题，
answer, which isn't
这对
helpful
改
to
善
my
现状
current
并无益处。
predicament.
既然拥有
Since
些
I
记忆，
do have recollections
那
of
么
these
姑且认
events,
为
I don't
刚
suppose
才我
there's
被那个男人
anything
杀过一
wrong
次，
in assuming that I was killed
似
by
乎
that
并无不
man
同。
fairly recently. There you have
简单易
it.
懂，
Simple and
这样
straightforward.
一来，剩
All
下的
that's
就唯有
left
行
is
动。
to act.
白吉，
He
他可
might
能
still
还
be
在走近，
around. I must be
逃命的
careful
时
when
候
making my grand
必须小
escape.
心。那是
That's
原来如此，
I see.
永
A
世的负
burden
累。
forever.
看来他所
I
言非
suppose he was
虚，
telling the truth,
不
but
过
this will do.
这样就好。
这些影子
Did she kill all
全是
these
被他一人
shadows
所杀，
herself?
他究竟是什么
What
人？
is she?
这样一来，
This should at least
让
make
秋
things
多多
quieter
少
in
少
Langqiu, more or
也会
less.
变得清静一些吧。白起，
The
你所
astral
赠
ring
予
you
的心
gave
之
me
魂
is not a
并
burden,
不是什么累
but
赘，
I shall prove it to you.
我会证明给你看。
他认识刚才
She
那个危
knows
险
that
的男
dangerous
人，
man,
也
as
知道
well
那个
as
什
that
么
thing
心之
called the
魂，
astral ring.
他就是男人所说
Is
的
she one of the
具有
qualified
资质之
candidates
人
he
吗？
mentioned?
这是属于，
This is
等得到
Lantern's path.
如果影子党
If
真
there
无
is
权
no
无
end
体，
to these shadows,
那我的
then
杀
so
戮
shall my
也将无
slaughter
休
be.
无止。好
All
了，
right, the break
小
is
憩的时
over.
间结束，是时
It's
候
time for the next
继续
death
下一
match.
场死斗了。走，
Oh,
用出
I'm
血，
bleeding again. It better not
可
obscure
别
my
知道我是
vision.
想
Show's over for you.
该退场了。
Letting go can be a beautiful experience. In a deep slumber, the mind can rid itself of the constraints of time and enjoy true freedom in the void resembling death. And so things continue this way for an indefinite amount of time. And the shadow began to stir again. The sea never dries between the ebb and flow of tides, just as water begins to seep in when the last drop evaporates from the paddle. The new round of creation was near its completion in the gathering of darkness.
有意思。
Interesting.
现在我可以确信了，
I'm sure of it now.
至少我的
At
记
least the
忆
memories are
确实可以
carried
通过
on
影来
by
延续。
shadows.
而如果想得更
From a
自我
more
一点，
egoistic
每当我的身体
perspective,
烟消云散，影子就会
whenever
为
my
我准备
body
全新的躯壳。
disperses, the shadow will prepare a new one for me.
可这又是为
But
什么？
why? The living thing in the shadows couldn't help but throw another glance at the surrounding peers, secretively hoping one of them could talk with it. Despite waiting for some time, however, nothing happened. In the end, it came to a conclusion.
我
I am
是特别的，
special.
我不同于其他的
I'm
影子，
different from the other
只有我能够理解人的
Only
语
I
言，
can understand the
只有
human
我能变换
language.
不同的身躯，
Only I
只
can
有我
change
能保有
bodies
记忆，
and retain my memories.
只有我
Only I am
能够思
capable
考。
of intelligent thought.
委
This
实有
is
些
very
意思。
interesting indeed. The living thing in the shadows pondered long on the fact that they could think.
我对自己还所
I
知
don't
甚
know
少，
much about myself.
或许这种
Maybe there's a
转
limit to
生的
my
能力
ability to
有其界
reincarnate.
限，
Best to
保
refrain
险
from
起
dying
见，
on a daily
还是
basis
少死
just
几
to
次
be
为妙。
safe.
甚至
This might even
这
be
也
a
有可能
trick
只
of
是
the
记忆造
memory
就的错觉，
instead of a
而非灵魂的延
continuation of
续。
my soul. The
那
next
个会
me
记
who
得我的下
remembers
一个
me might have
其
nothing
实
to
将
do
与
with
我
me
完
at
全无
all.
关。如果真是这样，
If that's the case,
那就一次都
I
不能死了。
absolutely, positively cannot die. Not even once.
不过，
However, the living thing in the shadows tapped into its perception, a magical faculty different from the five senses of humans, and started to assess its own situation. Then, for the first time since its birth, it felt happy and at ease. It's wonderful.
奇哉，妙哉！仅凭直觉而言，
Intuitively, the death
之前的
from
消亡
earlier
不但没有让我
didn't
感觉
make
疲
me
惫和痛苦，
tired or pain.
反而让我感受到一
Instead,
股
I'm filled with this
奇妙的充盈。
strange fullness.
我能感受到，
I can feel that something
在
deep
我的
inside
深
me
处
is
有某物
connected
连
to
接着
this
这片名
land
为狼
called
丘的天地，
Langqiu,
而它
and it seems to be
似乎
growing.
在不断壮大，
Yes, it's expanding every second.
无时无刻不在膨胀。我感觉到恐惧在
I
吹
can
拂，
sense the titillating breeze of fear.
这便是
Is this what it feels like
飞
to
翔的
fly?
感觉吗？白起，他似乎比之前
He
虚弱了
appears
许多。
much weaker than before. It appears that the colossal impact produced by the zodiac astral ring splitting didn't fully disperse. Some of it has forced onto my body.
转而被加诸此身，
Is this a price I have to pay
这也是身
for
为不
being an
成器的使用者
unworthy wielder?
所该承受的报应吗？
I suppose I deserve
也
it.
好，
I alone am
既然
responsible
琥
for
珀
the
切着
tragedy on
残疾，
Amber Street today.
且由我一手造成，我必承其
I
罪
must bear
业，
the weight of that
竭其
sin
一生，
and atone for
以
it
赎
for the
偿
rest of my life. Nevertheless, I am sorry for dragging the six of them into this, making them mortal sinners.
今且成为弥天罪人。六人，
Is he referring to the people to whom he gave the astral ring?
我等
We, the venerable seven truths,
必将
shall
道绝
purge
以
the
在。
shadow calamities. The moment the third body was crushed, two epiphanies came crashing to the being in the shadow. Firstly, the man named Baiji wasn't entirely bereft of fear. Only the shadow projected by his fear was so colossal that it extended beyond its vision. Secondly, it had grasped the nature of its being. The whisper from its mysterious faculty only occurred upon collision with a shadow of that magnitude. I am the shadow. What is a shadow? When no one is watching, a shadow appears as if it doesn't exist in this world, growing only in silence. When it is large enough to be noticed, it has already become inseparable from everyone, to the point that nobody is able to shake it off. A shadow yearns for, manipulates, and harvests fear. And fear is the most hideous whip in the world, lashing all those who have succumbed to it. The people lost to shadows lack neither courage nor dignity, but fear can destroy those precious qualities like a sharp blade cutting through fine muslin. It bows the heads of arrogant men and defiles pure hearts. It goes without saying that the lowly commoners have no way to escape from its claws. Even the most illustrious emperors cannot help but bow to it, descending into its pit of shameless minions. After all, everything contrives to remove justice and reason from a man who has been brought up to command others. Yes, this is the answer to the question. Shadows are fear, and fear is power.
阿杰塔女士，
Have you finished writing your
你的随想
journal, Mr.
写
Ch3-Ph2-Pt2?
完了吗？
抱歉，
Sorry
让你
to
久等
have
了。
kept you waiting. She turned around with her charming smile. Even though there was no reason to keep the words a secret, she still concealed the notes behind her with her elegant figure.
这样一来，我
So,
们终于
we
有时
finally
间可
have
以好
time
好
to
聊
talk.
一聊了。影的意志，
Well of the shadow. By talking, I assume you mean tying me up with your artifacts as if I were a lamb to be slaughtered.
哎呀，
Well, you're the almighty shadow who's wrought untold havoc in
我一
Langqiu.
个弱女
You
子
could
怎么
hardly
毫无防
blame
范
a defenseless woman like myself for taking certain precautions.
你
Don't
会审
worry,
判
you'll get used to them.
还真
Your
是张
lies
可
come
久。
so easily.
你既不是什么弱女子，
You're by no means
我也不是什么
defenseless,
大能，
and I am far from almighty.
至少
At least,
现在还不
not
是
for。now.
嗯，
I thought you'd be more cunning or
我本
savage.
以为
I
你会是
wasn't
一个更加
expecting
狡
you to be
黠
so
和粗野的
straightforward.
存在，没想到你竟然还挺率直。
别装了，七
Don't
月，
play games with me,
你早已
gadgets.
知晓我的
You've been
存在。
aware of my existence for some time now.
你是唯一一个看过
You're
我
the
真
only
实身份的
person
人，
who's discovered my real
甚至早于
identity,
虚演这个
even
七术
before
之时。
falsehood, the head of the seven shrews. And when
你是
do
在
you
说
think
什么
that
时候？
was?
是你混进努特里斯
Was
开
it
家
when you
宴会
sneaked
的时
into the
候，
Nutri School
还是你潜入
banquet?
互助会偷看他
When you
们禁书的时
infiltrated
候？
the Mutual Aid Society and read their forbidden books?
在琥珀街大
Or
恐慌
on
的
the
那
day of the
天，
Amber Street Great
你窃听
Panic
我和
when
白
you
姬
were
谈话时，
eavesdropping on Baizi and I?
难以置信，
Unbelievable. At
那个
that
时候，
time, I myself hadn't
连我都无
realized
法
that
清
I
楚
had
地
been
认识
born into this world
自
as
己
the
已
will
经
of
作
the
为影的
shadow.
意志诞
But
生
now
了。
you're saying that even
而
before
你却
that,
说，
I had already.
我在那个时候之前就已经。你弃
You,
用之术，
shrew
阿
of
杰塔，
gadgets,
你究竟是什么
Vegeta,
人？
who are you?
没想到有
I
一
never
天，
imagined that
我
one
会被
day
一只
a
怪物
monster would be
用
staring
看
at
怪
me
物的眼
as
神
if
看
I
着。
were the
不过你
monstrous
放心，
one. But rest
并不是
assured,
什么
I'm
未
not
卜先
so
知的仙女，
fairy or demon
我
who
只
can
是
foretell the
拥
future.
有比这个世界
It's
的众
merely
生
that my
稍
vision
加
is
深远的
slightly
视
deeper
野
and
吧。
broader.
虽然至于我
Although
如
that
何
has
看
nothing
护
to
你身
do
份，
with how
说
I
实话
found
不
out
担
about
心。
your
是
identity. Fission. Looks like you're the type who'd be more interested in the first topic. Let me put it like this. Beyond this island which you know as your world lies a vast sea, one which seemed difficult to reach at the moment. Langqiu's land mass is no match for the boundless sea. Moreover, there are countless other islands in this infinite sea. Are you saying that there are more worlds like Langqiu out there? More than you or any living thing could ever imagine. However, this is still not the point, as far as my vision is concerned. Apart from the islands, there is a place of overwhelming importance in the sea. Let's call it the continent. The continent is the cornerstone of civilization, the prototype of all history and legacy, the only beacon that deserves to be taken seriously. When she mentioned the word beacon, an almost imperceptible glimmer of longing seemed to shine in Ajita's eyes. From what the shadow remembered, the somewhat cynical woman had never appeared like this before. Strange. You don't strike me as the type who would fantasize over some dubious statements. After a few seconds, the strange look in Ajita's eyes disappeared, and she returned to her normal self. I'm a rather famous person, you know. The goods I deal with are not limited to the common items you'll find on this island. Did you also learn about me from these aliens? Sort of. I guess they gave me some inspiration. I'll put it this way. In the world I call the continent, anomalies once took place that were similar to the shadow calamities. They were in fact the exercising of certain authorities. According to the records, most of these anomalies evolved to possess a will on their own, but the reason behind this outcome varied. So I'd be surprised if you didn't exist. You are a scary woman. Well, the ability to differentiate between precious and mundane items is a must for every successful business person. Shall we get down to business then?
你还挺能干的嘛，想不想为努特里斯科效力？放心，没有你想的那么危险。可能。闲下来总觉得不太安心，或许继续训练会更好。闲下来总觉得不太安心，或许继续训练会更好。